Extended Edition. We have the last bit of the bracket to go through. We're going to be kicking off Terran versus Terran, Villo versus Dolan. After so many drawn-out games on the previous day, the admins and players have agreed to play another day. So a momentous occasion and hopefully memorable games. Let me introduce you. In the bottom right, Storm Gaming's top Grandmaster Terran. It's Dolan. And in the top left, we have a Villo in the green, known for his late game play, to say the least. All right. Scouting for proxies. Now, Dolan has gone through the intense 200 IQ mind game of proxying outside his own main. We will see as SCV scouts go out. Dolan has specifically, he's a meme lord. Let's make it very clear. He is a meme lord. And that's a kind way of putting it. But he's also a very good StarCraft player, and he's been practicing specifically for this occasion. From what I understand, I don't know if he was practicing with Practice X, who ended up falling 2-1. But he was practicing specifically against his opponent's style. So will we see early aggression, which didn't work out quite as well for No Regret, but that was Terran versus Zerg. TVT, you definitely have a lot more opportunities to open up the action. There's a lot less capability to just simply wall off and defend. First blood. I'm
First blood.
Kind of surprised that duel continued, but the SCV on SCV violence continues as well. Ravens, Reapers, Medevacs, Cyclones, there's a lot of ways to circumvent the defender's advantage in TVT as compared to other Terran versus matchups. And that's why we see a whole lot of tech play early on. Honestly, in every mirror matchup, it's very volatile to start, where even having one extra of a strong unit, like a Warp Prism, or even a Queen in ZVZ. Of course, when you're facing the same units that you can build, having one more is a distinct advantage or disadvantage. Cyclone from both sides. It's something of an expand build from Dolan. He did get 2 gas early, which allows him access to the starport in a relatively timely manner. He is interested in expanding. Reaper grenade goes out. Good micro. He's got to be... Ends up losing both Reapers. So a little bit sloppy there. Going back into high ground range. Ravens on the way. The counter Cyclone more than enough. Defensively, the question at this point, I think, since both players are going Cyclone Raven, unless there's a big mistake made, is when you transition. When do you take your third command center? This is a Villo's second, but the third command center from Dolan, usually in TVT, you stick with the 1-1-1 for quite a while. That's actually kind of a running trend with Terran in all matchups, but the 1-1-1 gives you access to all the units you need defensively. Not really enough to be aggressive in TVT on a map that has a ramp like this. On a map, say, a map where you can get a little bit closer to the ramp and maybe siege up the command center or the gas geysers. Sure, maybe there's an opportunity for a tank push, but King's Cove is quite defensive. Long rush distance. Ramp is far away from the natural. So it does see a lot of those third base into later gameplays. Mech and Bio are both common choices. I'd say Marine Tank and Bio in general, when we get to the later stages, still favored. Maybe like 70-30, 80-20. It's a bit of a stylistic choice, of course. Mech is not out of the question, but it definitely is in the minority. Flipping over, we're going to see some Vikings. And even if, well, really air control, especially if one or both players is going mech, air control is everything. You don't really have as much built-in anti-air. Okay, so it appears Villo is going mech. He's going to have a little bit in the way of early defenses, a bunker. This, honestly, here is probably all the information that Dolan needs. He won't be surprised to see double gas, double Raven, plenty of tanks. He hasn't added on any production yet. With mech, you don't have that built-in anti-air that you do with Bio, which is Marines, which are mobile and cheap. So if a mech player loses air control to a Bio player, it's very easy to transition into losing the game, because even a single Liberator or just medevacs in general will make your life very difficult. It is incredibly important for the mech player to keep that air control, because that is one of their only advantages and their best way of keeping their expansions alive. Dolan will be taking a third. It doesn't appear to have been spotted. I think the scan was just a little late. So an economic advantage by a pretty large margin. Third command center in the main for Villo. More Vikings are on the way. Now, just a point on the skins. The technology was finally here. With a recent patch where if you have the WCS Gameheart if you have the WCS Gameheart overlay and extension modding game, then the observers can see the beautiful skins. Like, I'm a big fan of the Mecha Viking skins. One of the best ones. Or Mecha Zerg or whatever. And Mecha anything. But the players in-game cannot, because there have been some issues in the past with visibility of certain units. So we get all the glory that these players want to show off, because everybody knows more skins, more wins. Without any of the concerns of muddying the competitive environment, or whatever fancy way you want to say it. That Marine spots a Cyclone. Dolan doing everything he can to make it look like a spotting clone, as opposed to an army coming across the map. Sensor tower is up, though. He's going to be in range. Scan does he actually spot the second tank? That could... Oh, that's 4 tanks down there. How much energy on the Ravens? It come down to interference matrices. Scan's very important as well. Is the tank in range? It is not. Only the splash damage was hitting. The Viking count is 8-8. Ravens 2-2. Both sides. Well, interference matrix used to push out. Dolan sieging up. Remember, behind this, he got his third base up quicker. He has a few more workers. Going for stim and upgrades. Villo has no upgrades on the way. The exchanges between the Vikings. Nice pickoffs there for Dolan. 2 more Vikings popped out. Anti-armor missile going to make a lot of the difference. It's unclear, but interference matrix is going to help out a lot. Half the Vikings were not firing. Anti-armor is good, but not if you don't have anything to shoot at it. So the Viking count 7-3. Maintaining that air control is the ticket to victory. Villo will continue to reposition, but Dolan is leaning on the biggest advantage he could get, which, of course, is the air control. There's nothing that can really come down the ramp, because if Villo is continually making Vikings, and he just has less Vikings, there's no catching up. Tanks slowly moving forward. Dolan building up production in the main. Eddie on a 4th command center. Plenty of SCVs. There's nothing stopping him from doing this. There's no counterattack. There's no counter damage. There's no run by or anything along those lines. He's just continuing to compound his advantage in both position and economy. And right now, it doesn't appear there's really any way to match it. There's still 1 Raven on the opposite side. Anti-armor missile is used. I'm not sure how much of a difference that does make in Viking versus Viking. It makes a big difference if you have Marines, for example, because they fire so quick. And units can go into negative armor, causing them to take additional damage. That's why anti-armor missile has such a great effect. The standoff continues. The supply gap widens. Is there an armory for Dolan? He does have it. Should be starting 2-2 very soon. 4 Vikings at a time to just 2, as well as continued bio production. 3 starports and 3 factories up against... How many barracks now? 5 barracks. Double reactored starport. He's prepared. He knows exactly what to lean on. The big advantage, as we saw in Villo's earlier games, is simply outlasting your opponent and going for a more cost-efficient unit composition. It's really just about survival. But Dolan has taken away the most important part. Oh, the tanks are unsieged. Which side sieges up first? The Viking on Viking action starts. Marines and Marauders. Uh-oh. He didn't have the Viking count. Even the ship weapons upgrade's not going to make the difference. There's no scan to the high ground. The tanks are continuing to shell. This tank getting a lot of damage done. I don't know if it actually has vision. The Vikings being chased down. And in one of the weirdest exchanges that happens in StarCraft, the Vikings will avoid the other Vikings by dropping to the ground. But that does keep them alive until maybe reinforcements can arrive. The Vikings will hold their position. Dolan is adding on his 2-2. He's getting +1 mech armor. A Villo, no upgrades, and none in production. We do have... Yeah, Dolan has 4 bases, going on 5. He's adding on 3 more starports. He's not giving up the air war. Does Villo even have an armory? He doesn't. This is completely unupgraded mech. So Dolan is both going to have better bio and mech upgrades. Everything on paper going his direction. 4 Vikings at a time. (2-2) finishing up for Dolan. Double armory finally coming in. Dolan is maxed out. At this point, as long as you can deny a 4th base, that's really his only job. Don't lose everything and deny a 4th. There's not even a single meta event. 20 Vikings on 20 Vikings, but Marines will add some damage. So will tanks from the back. A little messy there. Villo's added on some Liberators. These Viking exchanges, just because the Vikings look cooler doesn't mean they actually do more damage, by the way. Contrary to popular belief, Dolan does have 1-1 done. 2 upgrade advantage in the air. That does add up over time. More Vikings on the way. 8 at a time for Dolan. He's got... Wait, does he have more starports than he has barracks? He's got 5 starports and 5 barracks. The waiting game, it's going to be very, very difficult to actually move in and win the game. That is... Dolan has to be patient. We actually had him on, commentating the TVT match his opponent played yesterday. He did acknowledge it's very hard to be patient. It seems easy. It's like just don't attack. That is a lot simpler than it sounds, especially at this level. So, if he can continue denying bases without losing all of it, I actually legitimately believe that is freeing up supply, what he did there. He just needs to deny any more bases. Forever. Until this game ends. So... here comes the attempted breakout. A couple Liberators. Not covered by the Vikings. Literally covered by the Viking. Oh, anti-armor missile is actually pretty huge here. Trying to get underneath. The Liberators are enough. They're covered. What are the upgrades? 2-1 in the air against just +1. Anti-armor missile doesn't make up for it. He broke out of a lot of the tanks. But Dolan holds for now. He's making 9 Vikings at a time. He's got all the command centers, but once again, this could get drawn into such a... Yeah, you're not going to the corner. This ain't Bronze League Heroes. Dolan is ready for this. It's rare in a qualifier setting you get over a day, or at least almost a day, to prepare for your opponent. But that's what we have here. He's getting... well, actually, that's a Villo getting building armor. Trying to break out with some SCVs. The tanks will siege up. Liberator shows up. Vikings hit the deck. Liberator not happening. The contain is... it's broken. Not cleanly, not solidly. Well, right now, Dolan's army is 33 Vikings. He's got a Denmark of Vikings right now. And almost not... he has 1 tank and 1 Marine. And this is the 1 Marine over here, by the way. He's got an entire Scandinavian fleet of Vikings. That's a very dead command center. And it had building armor, too. Neil steel armor, rather. I apologize. But a 4th base has been established. .3 is on the way for Dolan for what bio units he does have. Now comes the weird question of, like, how do you kill him when you only have Vikings? Raiding parties are good, but they're not an occupying force. It is 120 to 88 army supply, but... that is a lot. Like, there is no even attempt at air control. The Vikings hit the deck. Is that... they're breaking through? He's down under 100 supply. A planetary versus landed Vikings. The battle continues. The planetary will win this fight. That was actually a completely successful raid. Burn and pillage, as they say. Cleared out all of the tanks. Everything on the ground except the base itself. That means the green Terran going to be mining out. Whereas Dolan, a little off-center. Very close to being in the right spot, Dolan. You were so close. He has... I mean, he has significantly more income. That's an understatement. He's currently mining... technically off of like 4 or 5 fresh bases. Even though he has 80 SCVs, he doesn't have enough to split between all this. All he's got to do, if he's going to finish it, he's got to bring the hammer down soon. Otherwise, he's kind of accepted we're going to this the 4th base. Oh god. Even expending this much money for taking on turrets is okay, as long as, like, he's gotten a 4th, he's beaten him back, the units lost is actually in Dolan's favor. But one more cost and effective fight, and then suddenly we get dragged. Oh my god. Does he have Liberator range? Yes, advanced ballistics. He's building 6 Liberators at a time. The forward turrets are on the way. The Vikings are on the deck. They're just going to try to... I don't know about this. The Liberators are going to try to siege up, but the tanks are pretty much already dead to the Vikings. That's enough. That's enough. Okay. So, landed Vikings. Good enough. It's interesting. He just gave up. I appreciate how he gave up on the bio pretty early. Like, the bio wasn't cutting it. At some point, you got to take to the skies. And he used it well. So, It might not be obvious. It's something that was added a while ago, but let me make sure we get the next map loaded up. Acropolis. Pretty large map. But on the ground, just in their ground mode, they do extra damage. They do extra damage to mechanical. And mechanical units include, well, pretty much everything in a mech army, obviously. But also things like stalkers, immortals, probes, SCVs. You might not think of them as the first thing. Game 2 is loaded up. Dolan 1-0 lead. Winner of this goes on to face ItDrooling. Thank you for tuning in to WCS Challenger NA Day 2 Extended Edition. Top left, Dolan. Bottom right of Villo. Solid execution. Honestly, there were no real mistakes from Dolan. There were missteps, a little bit of miss micro. He did allow a fourth base, which is dangerous, but he eventually punished him for it. So that's what matters in the end. The biggest issue that players can have is they might take much of the map. They might have insanely more income, but their army is just not cost effective enough to fight with the defensive Terran army. So, if you start throwing away too many units, suddenly it gets to the point where they have built up a Terran death ball, and you're throwing rocks at a tank, or many tanks. Especially, you can't throw a rock as far as a tank can shoot. That's a professional tip. That one's free. Subscribe today for more. Always important to stay hydrated. You never know how long the match is going to be. Both sides. Oh, Dolan with a little block on the depot. Cheeky devil. Throws down the cheese spray. Waiting in the trees. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I zone out and I'm thinking and I forget, oh yeah, you're casting the game. You should probably talk about it. SCV gets in. Going to see 2 gas. Will he notice 2 in 2 gas? Does get taken out by a Hellion. It's important there are no add-ons on any of these buildings. There's no reactor, no tech lab. That's it. Those are all the add-ons. But that does give away there's not going to be a complex, like, siege tank, banshee sort of attack coming in. There's still a lot of options, but they are limited by the lack of add-ons. Villo, on the other hand, adding on a Cyclone, a Raven. Expansion in the main. doesn't really show any aggressive intentions. You can technically go across the map, maybe get some auto turret harass, but I doubt it. Dolan, on the other hand, expanding on the low ground. Gonna do a Hellion drop. This is... I like the choice. It's a minimal investment. It's not like attacking with a Cloak Banshee or doing a tank push. A medevac and 3 Hellions. You can afford to lose this, and you won't lose the game. But you can still get... You can kill dozens of SCVs with a Hellion drop. It's not as common anymore. Oh, my God. Oh, this is cute. I don't... Like, there's going to be 2 Cyclones, which I think might be enough, but I love this move. The Reaper jump has not been blocked. The lock onto the medevac. No, you gotta drop out the... That was a disaster. That was, well, I was saying, like, you can lose that. It's not terrible. But then he also lost 2 of his Reapers. So thank you to Dolan for putting on a clinic on the exact opposite of how you should do that. That was really bad. That was a disaster. That was so bad. Welcome to some North American StarCraft, everyone. It happens. But even then, because he didn't lose any important tech units, which he has been building at home, he's not in a position where he's going to lose the game. It's just, 1, you got to kick yourself a little bit, and 2, you've lost any potential to really harass your opponent for a while. Cyclones are coming up. Tank is in a nice position. Only takes 2 shots to kill a clone. Demonstration. They are pretty fragile. They're glass cannons that can move very fast. They're glass cannons on race car wheels. With lasers. To track things. Not really cannons. You get it. You get it. I don't know what this SCV is for. Is this scouting? Or does he plan on a hidden base? There's another SCV looking around. It seems to ostensibly be scouting. Not sure what he's scouting for. I mean, yes. What? Part of the SCV went inside the... Oh my god. Wait, there's a... Are you kidding me? Now, can we all appreciate how apparently there's a hole in the doodad, which allows... Now, I don't know if that's really the thinking. Maybe it just is transparent. But I think the little part of the SCV went through the window inside, like, the broken dome area. This game is so realistic. Oh, immersion. I could really feel that SCV being blasted into oblivion. So Dolan taking his 3rd, so was a Villo. Kind of emboldened, and rightfully so, by the failed first attack. Sensor towers coming up. Production looking pretty good on both sides. Couple factories for Villo. He's going for a 2nd starport. It appears he is not interested in losing air control again. Is Dolan going to give it up? He's still building Vikings. He's got 6. It's no 38. I'm just stretching. No reason. Definitely don't think this game might go 40 minutes. Well, Villo is a little out of position at the base. He's kind of just sitting in his natural. That does open up an opportunity. Oh, the interference matrices. I'm not exactly sure who gets the better end of these. 1 Raven goes down for Dolan. The Villo's down to 1 as well. 7 against 5 Vikings. Which is, you know, more. Unfortunately, not taking advantage of that interference matrix. And not choosing to move forward. Villo does have 2 starports. He is producing 3 Vikings at a time. Dolan, I don't think he's added a second starport. The Raven. Anti-armor missile comes through, though. That actually could turn the tides. There's a Cyclone. There's a Cyclone underneath. That's adding a lot of DPS. He's going to lose air control. He's definitely lost control of this situation. He's going to need to back up. Unless he wants to be continually scanning. Villo takes the supply lead. There's only 2 Marines for basic anti-air. In fact, this army could be broken entirely. With Vikings landing at the right time, some tanks moving forward, that could be a clean break. Got to free up supply. 1 refinery is under attack. The tanks are sieging up. What are the upgrades? +1 mech weapons against 1/1 bio. +1 mech weapons allows... Is it +1? It is +1. Allows tanks to 3-shot enemy tanks. If I'm doing... I really hope I have the math right. I believe it's 3-shot enemy tanks instead of 4 when they're sieged up. It's either +1 or +2. I'm pretty sure it's +1. There's some important math, though, on mech weapons. It's not quite enough to allow you to siege up and then kill a tank that is already sieged, of course. But it does make the difference if you siege up a little bit late or they're trying to move in range. Air control will go to the green Terran player. 13-8 Vikings. A Liberator sieges up. Is he going to sacrifice? Oh, he's just got to back up. He's going to lose 1 tank. Damage on a second. The 3rd base is fully secured. Is there a 4th command center? It's in the main. Marine just chilling. So that's 1 place to put a supply depot. Scan comes through. The launch tower will give Dolan a little bit of an idea if Villo is going to try to move out, but he actually doesn't really have the army here. Reinforcements are on the way. He's still building. Not a single medevac besides the 1 medevac that was built by Dolan has been built by either side in this series. It's all about the air war. We're back to Wings of Liberty, siege tanks and Vikings, and just draw a line, in this case, the literal sand, and we'll see what happens. Air control is key. No more upgrades for Villo, whereas Dolan continues to, well, I guess pump them out. He's getting combat shield, concussive shells, +1 ship weapons, +1 mech armor for ground and air. A 4th base has been taken. It is not a planetary. There is a fusion core on the way for Dolan. He's expecting to take air control, and then not battle cruisers, but ranged liberators make the most sense. But this game is not like the last. He doesn't have an iron grip on the economies. He doesn't have air control. It's 24-17 Vikings. Upgrades will make up for some of that. Marines, of course, can help with anti-air if they can get in range, but that's actually quite a dicey maneuver. The tank's finding a nice place to siege up. The scan war continues. A Vendaya scan coming out from Dolan. We just got to go to the Bronze League here. Every scan, okay, instead we need sound packs. Replace your sounds with better noises. Oh, the army's moving in. The tanks are unsieged. The planetary is going to help. He drops the Vikings. That's the scan noise, by the way. You hear that noise. A scan is happening. The Vikings are trying to protect the tanks, but some of the Vikings are not in the air, making this kind of awkward. I'm not... Okay, so back down to 4 bases. Villo was able to take another one. Dolan has 2 or 3 extras. He's really leaning on the air control, and he just took it. He's at 17 to 13 Vikings. The 4th base. If this one goes down, that is the focal point, because around the 4th base is when you're getting towards maxing out. If you don't have 4 bases, you can't reliably get to max out and also have the production to replace your army, because at around 8 or 9 minutes, your main base starts mining out. A few minutes later is your natural. We're getting there now, 14, 15 minutes. Really depends on when it's taken, but usually in a typical game. So you need to continually have at least 2 bases mining in order to continue production, and ideally a little bit more to have upgrades, additional infrastructure, defenses. The turrets, they don't have high-sec auto-trek, so they won't have that extra range. Such a key upgrade. Or Neo-Steel armor. The scans continue. Oh no, the tanks that he's going for it. Does he target down the Liberators? There's a few Thors in the mix. He drops down the Vikings. Both sides, their Vikings hit the deck. Thors are holding the line. Villo still has a couple tanks in a nice defensive position. The Vikings both retreat to their corners and back up into the air. Dolan is left with no tanks. Which, you know, like, well, both sides have 2 tanks left. 6 Vikings for Villo, 12 for Dolan. What are the upgrades? 2-2 in the skies up against just +1 weapons for ground and air. He's holding on. He held on to his 4th base, but there's not the upgrades. There's not the production. 3 more factories are being added. Dolan now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... and 7 bases, which is more than 4. And he does have all the production. Like, everything's trending towards him, but he hasn't laid down the killing blow. He's still far off that. The Viking count is what he's leaning on. It's going to be Widow Mines to counter the Vikings. This base should be going down. There is a sensor tower spotting it. Are there enough tanks underneath? Villo's only had 3 tanks, so without the tanks, he can't really do too much when it comes to holding a position. Just going to give up the base. Will the Vikings chase the command center? Thors are here. There is an opportunity for an anti-armor missile. Raven has a lot of energy. How much energy? Yeah, enough for at least 2. Oh, wait, 2? Can I count? Almost 2. Anti-armor missile is likely to be the choice here. Spot interference matrices might be something, but the upgrades are eventually going to be overwhelming. At some point, you can just walk up and siege up your tanks, even if they're already hitting your tanks. If you have 3-3 up against 1-0, you just have better units. It's not tank versus tank anymore. It's tank versus tank's older brother who's been working out in the gym for 3 years and holds a grudge. The army spot in the middle of the map. The Thors, are they in high impact mode, or... High impact mode is greater single target damage, especially against armored units at range, whereas explosive payload, the one you see against mutas, is extra damage against sight. Here comes Dolan's army. Is there an anti-armor missile? One comes through. The Cheeto dust over a lot of the Vikings. He's just going to drop his Vikings down. The counter Vikings on the ground as well. The landed Vikings are actually ripping through. They're going to be able to get through everything. He drops a mule. I mean... And for good reason... This is happening. And for good reason, he should be feeling confident. He, in every sense of the word, he's in the lead. He hasn't killed him yet. It's not over yet. This base is scanned. will immediately be evacuated. Oh my god. Evicted. Evicted. Take your pick. I'll come up with a word at some... The boys win the fight against the tank. The boys are the real MVPs. Dolan now has all the orange upgrades across the board, maxing out 3/3 ship weapons and armor, smart servos to drop the Vikings down faster. That's the Transformers move. Widowmine's spotting here. He's actually going to eat him with a Marauder. The splash damage is dangerous. What does the air control look like? 28 Vikings against 2. So, I mean, that's more. He's got so many Vikings. But you can't win the game with just Vikings, but he's gonna damn well try. In fact, well... the Planetary's getting in on the action. The tanks aren't actually well covered here. Thors are coming up. Uh-oh. 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 You really want... Okay. That... The Vikings didn't quite find the clump of tanks. And that means Villo will have a temporary supply lead. Very temporary, of course, but... And be able to finally afford that +2 upgrade. Whereas Dolan has, like, 7 to... He has the rest of the bases. If you look at the mini-map, you will see... I mean, right now... Dolan has all of this. That doesn't really explain it very well, but there's only... This is the base that's sticking out. The middle bases. There are 2 middle bases. Those are the ones that are usually fought over in a half-map scenario. The 2 middle bases are the ones right now that are potentially the key. Otherwise, we're getting dangerously close to the point where both sides will mine out their side of the map. Which means Dolan will have the advantage of 2 full additional bases if time goes on. But it looks like he's still bearing down. Gonna attempt to knock him out before that point. And you can't blame him for that. It was a little cost ineffective, that last one. He's lost 87 Vikings against 58, but... Those Thors are in explosive payload, not high impact. Will that help out? The tanks are coming in. He's just trying to hold the line. The boys are pulled to the front. Vikings hit the deck with that extra mechanical damage. Pretty helpful. There's one tank at the very back really trying to help out, but the Terran units are streaming in. The bio is coming through. There's still more tanks at the back. He's going to be able to break this base and Villo down to 100 supply. So, it's not pretty. It's not easy. But he's doing it. Bit by bit, inch by inch. Tank's very good on the ground, but he's building 9 Vikings at a time. He's building a whole raiding party of Vikings every 30 seconds or so. Like, there's very limited anti-air. He's not building anything else, so there's no ranged liberators, which seems like a little bit of an oversight. The tanks, some shots coming in. Are there any tanks at this base? They're just turrets dotted throughout. It's 19 refineries for Dolan against 10 for Villo, which I feel like that kind of describes the situation pretty well. He's just got to find a weak point to finally crack the turtle. The shell is showing weakness. It just... He hasn't been incredibly cost-effective yet. This is a big move. He drops right down on top of the tanks. The landed Vikings easily get through it. Oh, I don't know about this. That's a lot of tanks. That's a lot of tanks. That's a whole lot of tanks. The Vikings will lift and avoid that tank fire. They do have those smart servos. There's a single cloak Banshee, really? Does he not have a scan? It's a very dead cloak Banshee. These SCVs stand watch. The army supplies are a little more even than the total supplies show, because Dolan does have 23 more workers. In fact, he's probably going to want to start what am I watching? There's a Widow Mine. It's +2 mech weapons and armor and +1 ship weapons for a Villo, and everything in the orange. 3, 3, 3, 3 across the board for Dolan. Does he have... where's advanced ballistics? Get your advanced ballistics. He doesn't have liberator range. Oh, no, you don't want to land those there. This is, I don't know about this. That's quite a choke point. Oh, my. He needs liberator range. This base isn't... There's one tank here. Orbital falls. Oh, God. It's a lot of dead marauders. He killed the liberator with... Thors. Get liberator! At this point, battle cruisers. Like, this is happening. Dolan. Okay. He needs to get liberator range. He needs to get liberator range. He needs to get... Oh my god, the base almost died. Not that that'd be a huge deal. Dolan has plenty of command centers and income. Widow Mines looking for an opportunity. Aren't going to find it here. How many Thors? There are 6 Thors. "25 minutes. Still a short game. Widow Mine gets it just in time. Villo's army supply up to 100. There's just so many liberators. Now, where are the... He got a fusion core, right? Yes, he has a fusion core. The upgraded Thors are not bad here, to be honest. Not the upgraded, but the single target Thors, rather. They do a lot of damage against the liberators. You can push them back. Yeah, and it's instant hit. So there's no, like, time winding up to attack. They just pound them. Villo's trying to take this location. Dolan, a little bit too heavy on the bio. I think he needs to transition to that more air army. He's still trying to work with, like, he's trying to shoehorn. This is square peg, round hole. Square peg, brick wall. We saw a lot of that last night. Square peg, chain link fence, maybe. I don't know. A lot of square pegs. His base is vulnerable, but Villo's moving down to defend. He's got actually more army supply now, which is a dangerous proposition. Those Widow Mines gonna hit on the Liberators. The base should go down, but the Widow Mines actually having a big impact. And without Liberator range, the Thors actually outrange many of the Liberation zones. The units lost is starting to tilt in favor of the Green Terran. 10,000 more for Dolan. He's now lost 128 Vikings. Villo's suddenly feeling confident to attack. And however much he can deny of the middle bases, that's the real factor. Oh god, these Widow Mines could actually hit real hard. All over the air army. They didn't connect, just barely. But, no, that's not where you want to be! The Vikings, where are you going? The Vikings will land. They're all gonna die. Dolan. Wait, the vision blocker? He doesn't see them. This base is under attack. Dolan needs to simmer down and realize he doesn't have Liberator range, which is an important factor here. It's very hard. I know from experience, it's very hard to just slow down for a second. Just match the speed of your opponent and simmer down. And look for those upgrades. The Ventria scan, very elusive, but more common in late game scenarios. Liberator range or... Honestly, well, Battlecruiser's not great against Thors. The answer is what your opponent is building, but better and with a better economy, pretty much. Or Liberators with range and enough tanks to hold a position. But the army supplies are not in Dolan's favor. He actually does have to get rid of some SCVs, I feel. Little mines are going to trigger here. The Thors are marching. Dolan's army, like, is this the army? It is. He's got 12 Vikings, 9 Liberators, a bit of bio, a single tank. Widow mines are going to connect. The cost efficiency is non-existent. The Thors are dying. Dolan is really trying to brute force this here. He has the economy still. Remember, he still had and has most of the map, but 30 minutes in and it's starting to dry up a bit. And a tank at the watchtower. Oh my god. Are there any reinforcements? But just bio. How many tanks on the ground? 4 against 1. Little mines will burrow. Oop. This is happening. Liberator range. He can't hear me. I bet he'll hear himself after the game when he realizes he didn't get Liberator range. How many orbitals for each side? We got Dolan has 8 up against 2. There's only 2 orbitals? He's gone back to the Viking fleet. Vikings, I think he's planning on using them mostly as an anti-ground unit. Vikings on the ground, not a terrible counter to Thors and mines. I believe they can outrange the Widow mines on the ground. I'm not sure, but they kill them very quick either way. We're actually getting into an attrition situation where we have to start counting how many minerals are left and how many bases are left. Oh, these Widow mines gonna hurt. They do. The splash damage, they all connect. More Widow mines underneath. But the Vikings and the concave. He's suddenly just crushing through. He found the angle. A few more tanks at the back. A lot will be targeted down, but... Is this a planet? Of course it's a planetary. The Vikings! And a flank of Marauders. There's not even any minerals left to mine. Are there... How many mineral patches is Villo mining from? Like 12. Maybe 15 total. Liberator range. Liberator range! You can't... Maybe if I yell loud enough, I can yell all the way to Pennsylvania. This is happening. Dolan sees this with the refinery. The supply gap widens again because there's no income to replace the army. Folk Banshees are a prayer right now. Those SCVs getting in front of everything. Some Hellions as well. The Vikings need to hit the deck here. They will. The tanks not gonna unsiege. A lot of bio going down. Dolan has lost 20,000 more resources, but he's mined more than that. All he's got to do is finish him. It got dicey. $68 to $158 supply. That seems like a bridge too far. All those bridges have been burnt. There's just not that many mineral patches left. Especially ones that can be accessed. Another Widow mine. 5 Widow mines at a time in production. Not much else. Is there another one? Yes, of course. The last army coming in. The Liberators will siege up on the base, making sure repair is near impossible. The Vikings hit the deck. The Liberator actually being countered by a missile turret. The boys pulled, and that's it. Dolan takes it 2-0. Almost an hour later. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't clean. He ended up losing almost 20,000 more resources. But he won the game, and he will move on to face ItDrooling in the next round of Day 2, Extended Edition.
Hell, it's about time.
And we'll be getting into that next match. We have narrowed it down to 3 players, one of which will survive. Apparently on the bracket, different name, but the winner of that moves on to face Semper. And the winner of that qualifies. And remember, we're going to have Puck versus Printf, hopefully, afterwards tonight. It's very likely. We were afraid the matches might run all night again, but not this time. Alright, while they get their map vetoes done, Jimmy says it's time to run an ad real quick. If you guys could pause ad block, that'd be awesome. Thank you for watching, and I'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Winter, and I'm here to talk to you about Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime. When you connect your mom's Amazon Prime account with Twitch, you get so many exciting benefits. Now, what are those benefits? Let me tell you, twitch.tv/prime will detail them. But first off, you can get loot for games you don't care about. You get some League of Legends loot chests or whatever. Dungeon Hunter Champions outfit for champions. For I don't know what game that's for. Or maybe it's called Dungeon Hunt. I don't know. World of Tanks. Dauntless something. Whatever. And also StarCraft 2. You can get the Vorazun Nerazim bundle right now. Right now. Right now. All you have to do is if you logged into actual StarCraft to play an actual game, on the main menu you'd see the information. But I know that's hard. So, what you're going to want to do, twitch.tv/prime, or just, actually I think that's how you have to do it. Twitch.tv/prime, learn more, claim it, Battle.net launcher, bam, relog, you get all your fancy stuff. Co-op commander, announcer, fancy console, emote sprays, banners, whatever, who cares. But, wait, there's more. With Twitch Prime, you also get the ability to sub to a streamer of your choice. Or even subscribe to me. You can check it out up there, down there, all around. Tap here, tap there, and then tap in the right location. I don't actually know. I don't use Twitch on mobile. Or on my refrigerator, or whatever. Subscribe today, save esports, etc. Good luck, have fun, and thank you for watching. Let's get back to the action. Thank you guys for sticking around. Let's see. 10-minute break. Dolan and ItDrooling agree. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to have a 10-minute break, of which 2 or 3 minutes have already passed. As we continue onto the bracket. Through the bracket, rather. Which means, so we got TVZ coming up. It's time for a few cartoons. We've got the next season of StarCrafts coming up. Now, you're only allowed to watch this if you've already subscribed to StarCrafts. Carbot. Use the Carbot command. But let's get some drama. Who doesn't love drama? You guys love drama. I know that. Jimmy, come on. Nope, not them. They're terrible. Previously. This is the season finale, season 6. You gotta watch the whole season to get the story. Don't worry, this won't spoil it.
Shirt on, Spark. Let's do this. You got it. Nothing I can't handle. Me some fun. Oh, that's all?
Nuclear launch detected.
You can find that continuation at Carbot Animations. Or maybe between the next matches coming up. We'll find out. But thank you for sticking around. ItDrooling versus Dolan happening essentially, well, it should be happening in a moment. Thank you for tuning in. And in a moment, here we go again. We're gonna Thank you, Nader Hyler, for the sub. Real Altruist for $104.20. I've heard the original bot's having a hard time making the bills this week. Can you treat him to a drink or maybe even supper when you see him this weekend? 1, making the bills. 2, who's mine? 3, who calls it supper? Come on in and get your supper, boys.
Time for some beer?
No, we're still casting. They're still professionals. Acropolis, new repugnancy in Kairos. Thank you, by the way, Neko Q with the tier 3 sub for 20 months. Dylan Arker for 3. RL Tones, Dump 2 off the stream again. FTL, TTV 1280 by 1080. Dark Phoenix 260, SG MGR 360. Geminu 2, Boo Chief, CIJ Mech, The Cheese Brothers, Abyssal, Bandit 40, Meech 1030, Christian, Pressel, I Am O'Kyle, Zorito, The Servike, Aruix, What Now, The Reality King, Michael Puckett, Krabbe, Mort5092, Rob Ang 00. Thank you guys for those subs. And we are ready to go for the semifinals of WCS Challenger. Let's get it started. Jimmy, please. No, not this. There you go. Welcome back. WCS NA Challenger qualifiers. Wow. In the bottom right, he qualified last season. He's looking to make a repeat performance. In the bottom right, it's ItDrooling. Obviously inspired by someone. And in the top left, Storm Gaming's Dolan. So, both these players top GM. ItDrooling qualified for WCS last season. I'd say he's probably slightly favored. The winner of this has to go up against Semper, who's probably the most favored. There's a reason he's at the end of the bracket. But I haven't seen them play each other before. I haven't seen many of their games. So, TVZ, they picked relatively standard maps. At least they decided on them. Looks like a 1 rack 6 from Dolan. And a hatch first, hatch gas pull out of ItDrooling. So the usual. The huge. Where do we go from here? Mech, of course, is on the table. ItDrooling, from the matches I've seen, has quite a spicy variety of cheeses if he wants to bring them to the table. But I'm sure he's capable of playing a longer game as well. Adding on a third hatch. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, oh, it's a macro game just because they expanded. There's still plenty of options for designated pressures, if you would. Reactor very likely for the factory. Hellions, your cheapest early pressure unit that also puts you in a nice position defensively. Not only do you get access to a factory, but having the Hellions, they're quick, they can evade almost all units, even including speedlings. Oh, did the Reaper actually get a kill? It did not. Alright, he went pretty deep in the paint for it. And of course, if you're gonna go mech, you can kind of just keep producing them. Hellbat's always dangerous. The creep tumor boxed out by the Zerglings. I don't think Dolan's gonna come back in for more. Queen rebuffed. But I just wanted to get close to a younger man. All right. But she is too slow. Maybe once the creep expands from the third hatch, she'll feel young again. Sorry, Brenda. Hellions on the way. We'll see if he continues rallying them. I think with the third base, you just rally Hellions. You just continue to put on pressure. Instead of keeping it home, worrying about counterattack. Yeah, if you had a later third base, a little bit more likely there's going to be enough larva for Lings and an attempt at a counterattack. It's a Banshee first with Cloak. A classic build. Not even trying to hide it. The Overlord won't actually get a scout of this, but there's only a single Marine to contest it. The Hellions are just going to run by. He's got 3 Lings, 14 more about to pop out. But the drone line super exposed. That's 6 down. Make that 7. He's adding on to it. Double digits now and counting. 12 drones. I'm great at counting. A dozen drones for 4 Hellions and a Reaper. So, obviously that's great. 12 drones at this timing. He put them underwater. The last thing you want to do now... Oh my god, he just runs by. The madman. He wouldn't do it again. He does. He comes in for more. The spore crawler he's building there is actually going to help out against the Banshee that's coming across, but... So, an armory was built on the other side. Oh, the Banshee died 10 seconds before Cloak. Okay. It got evened out pretty quick. The second set of Hellions. A few things. First off, the Banshee, a very important follow-up. ItDrooling didn't even have spores. That Banshee with Cloak could have killed another half dozen drones or more. 2, he built an armory. He invested in an armory. But he lost all his Hellions before it. So despite doing drone damage, ItDrooling, he wrapped up the harass pretty well. Cut off the Banshee. And instead of taking critical, potentially game-ending damage, to be honest, he ends up, I'd say he's even, or maybe even slightly ahead, because he got such a quick third. And that's going to come in. Overseer, though. It's going to get a couple drones, but a shadow of what the first Banshee could have done. There's a Spore at the natural. Overall, I would say we're about even. It comes out about even. ItDrooling had plenty of queens, though they didn't help against the Hellions. There's going to be a lot of creep spread. So despite a relatively low economy for this stage, a lot of creep spread means you have a lot of buffer zone that he's going to have to take out in order to actually engage. And Lair is already done. Dolan just, well, okay, he's got his 3 factories up together. We've got +1 mech armor on the way, so he's not going to have a huge swell of production early on. The Cyclone upgrade, the Hellion, maybe Blue Flame, which is likely to happen in a second here. They're going to be quite late. The Banshee's been driven back. It picked up 7 kills. But ItDrooling is now kind of in a position... Well, nothing's going to touch him. There's a Banshee, but this is nothing overall. There's some Hellions coming in. If he doesn't build any units... Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point, me. That is a lot of Hellions. Is there anything to stop them? The answer? All the queens are in the main. He kills the Banshee. Well, I guess I'm completely wrong. He has no units. A bunch of drones are going to die. He could easily go into Hellbat mode as well. Oh my god. Oh Jesus. This game getting lit. 18 drones. And he gets out with most of the Hellions. He can go combine. Yep. That was bad. That was really bad. That should not have happened. He got baited into bringing all his queens to the main. There is no creep connecting the bases. They get leg cramps off a creep. So that means ItDrooling going to have to recover on the drone count. Now, the fact he has to rebuild drones, that's larva, that's time. That's time that could have been spent building up to another base, getting Hydras out. And that means the Cyclone Hellion attack has gone from dangerous to deadly. I don't think it will be game-ending now, but has a lot better chance of doing damage that leads to it. The queens are stuck out here. There's still 5 queens on the map. Oh, gonna be 4 in a moment. Banelings with speed. No Hydras on the way. He's gonna try to defend this, it looks like, with just laying Bane. That's a dangerous proposition. There's a Hydra done. He does have group spawns. The Banelings rolling in on creep onto the Hellbats. Where are they going? Over to the left side. The queen's on top of the Cyclones. Most of them gonna go down. Still 3 Cyclones survive. 2 more queens gonna be knocked out. Still some Hellbats in the front. As long as he can get the Baneling connections, he does. Just the Banshees uncontested in the sky. Some Hydras in production. Queens on each of the hatcheries. Dolan driven back, but not for free. He lost so many queens. So far, 5 queens have gone down this game. He's knocked down to just 1, which isn't even enough to inject, let alone be part of the army. The creep spread has been cut off. There are no active tumors towards the front. A 4th base was taken by ItDrooling. But Banshee's moving in. 3 Banshees now. This has gone from a nuisance to a potentially... Like, there's a lot of things happening that ItDrooling could have prepared for, but just was slightly out of position. Those Hellions mostly. That last attack coming in, he handled that about as well as he could have. But now Dolan, he's got 4 command centers, 4th command center coming up. 80 workers, plus 2 armor on the way. Next Hellclone army is moving out onto the map. The Banshee count is at 4. He's got 7 Cyclones. In this case, I don't think Cyclones are actually not that huge of a priority, because he's not up against Roach Ravager. Doesn't hurt to have them, though. They're pretty great units. The big danger for Cyclones is without enough buffer against Hydrolings and Banes, he's just going to get run over. They don't kill... The one thing they're not good against is Zerglings, because they want to have more substantial units to be able to lock on and micro against. I believe that Fusion Core is for battlecruisers. Not as a meme, but as an actual transition here. That is a lot of Hydroling Bane. ItDrooling was on a pretty low economy for a time. He's been building up units, and now is the time to take advantage of it. +2 against 1-1. The Banelings rolling through. The first round of Cyclones taken out, but the Banelings are still rolling. Reinforcements come through. He's off a creep. A little bit easier to micro against. Blue Flame is done, but it doesn't really affect against the Banelings. Banelings are not light units. They just don't have very much HP. So Dolan is driven back for now. The big point here is he's been untouched. There has been no counter damage. There's been no SCVs killed. Almost literally. 0 SCVs killed. He's at 80 workers. He got to 4 bases with a mech army. He's got 5 factories and 3 starports. Battlecruiser, oh, it is going to be ranged Liberators. Very sad. I really wanted Battlecruiser. No, don't consume your own base to death. A dangerous game being played here. He could be losing the hatchery on another attack. Gotta be careful about dragging the Cyclones, because the Banelings will hit him as well. There's just a big army at the bottom of the ramp. It's becoming more and more cost-effective. There's not any energy on the Vipers. He's got to be very careful with them. Lings coming in for a flank, but the Blue Flame Hellions easily roasting them away. Another round of Banelings, though, will drive back the Hellclones. He's got vision with the Watchtower. He's got to try to hold on to it. There's no detection for the Banshees. They're starting to run out of energy, but adding a whole ton of DPS to this army. A scan spots there's no additional bases. These are very exposed. The Cyclones can easily pick them off. He does. Even one Cyclone does the damage. Double kill on the hatches. Tries to come around the back. The Banelings on the creep, finding an opportunity. Drags in a couple clones. Banelings getting some connections. Are there enough Hydras to finish the job? Banshee's starting to run out of energy. He doesn't have Hydra speed. He can't really chase off a creep. It's halfway done. A handful of Hellions coming in towards what is now the 3rd. They do have Blue Flame. They don't have any weapons upgrades, but ItDrooling can't afford any losses right now. He's got 2-2. He has no hope. There's no is there an infestation pit? He does have a hive, actually. I've been looking at Vipers for like 3 minutes, and I didn't realize that. Big brain. So he could get 3-3 upgrades. If he finds the money. Of course. Liberators with range. A Venn diagram of freedom. In come the Banshees. Gonna drag some of the Liberators out. Out of siege mode as well. Very important. The Hydras with a beautiful concave. The Liberators re-siege, but the Hydras are already underneath. Is it enough? It doesn't look like it. Plummets under 100 supply. Dolan takes game number 1 with a clinical Hellclone strat. Doing good damage early and compounding it as time goes on. Well played. Good game. ItDrooling taps out. Dolan will continue his winning streak. Going into game 2. New Repugnancy. What a name for a map. Honestly, there were a couple... He gambled. He gambled on the Hellions getting by. Essentially. And they got by. They did the damage. It was a little sloppy, but overall, Dolan kept his foot on the gas. In some senses, literally. That's the ideal scenario with Hellclone. If you don't have any, if there's no chance of counter damage, if you can just kind of rally units across the map, you're good to go. And he showed that there. Well done. Game number 2. Let's go. Why did you choose light blue and blue? I should have enforced red versus blue colors. ItDrooling with the biggest brain. Dolan obviously a little slower. I love the pauses. Like, well, the mind games won by ItDrooling so far, but none of the actual games. Gonna be gas first, so he has 100 gas right as he builds, well, 150 right as the barracks finishes, so he can build a Reaper and a factory. Or, no, more so that he can build a factory and a reactor at the same time as the Reaper's finishing. I'm sorry. Single SCV on the way across the map. Making sure there's no pull first shenanigans. Is he really gonna... He's gonna try to block the third. He's trying to get ahead. You saw last game ItDrooling with a quick third, kind of avoiding any potential Reaper harass. Does he drop down an engineering bay or a depot or something? He's actually getting hit pretty hard. I'm not like, that was solid mech. I would not be surprised if Dolan does something similar again. He can't expect to get a couple dozen drone kills with Hellions that he just runs by with. That would be unrealistic. You're gonna force a couple drones to dodge into extractors. Third base is on the way. He delayed it a little bit with the SCV. Factory finishes up onto the reactor. New repugnancy is... There's pretty wide open spaces in the middle of the map, but anywhere else, some nasty choke points. High ground is actually over your third, so if tanks get sieged up there. Your fourth base is pretty defensible. Most players take that as a fourth as opposed to a third. Terran players usually take the high ground. Because tanks, mostly. Starport nearing completion. Is that a tech lab? Why wouldn't it be? Same thing so far. Will ItDrooling, he's building eight lings right now. That is 100% a reaction to last game, when Dolan ran by and killed a dozen drones. You don't have to have enough lings to kill the Hellions just to make it... I mean, you want to make it hard to micro and kill drones while you're being attacked by lings. So this time he's going to have enough lings to easily prevent or destroy the Hellions if they run by. I don't think Dolan will attempt it again. He's adding on an armory. A Hellbat timing makes more sense, especially after you got, I'd argue, a little lucky in game one. He was being a little too greedy. Some players will gamble that you won't run by. A Hellbat Banshee timing with Cloak could be deadly, to say the least. Wait, did he see the armor? He saw the armor. Okay. Baneling Nest is on the way. Yeah, he's gonna need that. Queens are good, but against straight up Hellbat Cloak Banshee, not good enough. You really want some buffer. Zerglings can easily be roasted. Here come the Hellbats. Baneling Nest is not done. Adding on more lings. You gotta be careful to get the lings behind the Hellbats, because they attack in a cone. There's not gonna be detection for the Banshee. The damage will add up. A few lings at a time is the best way to handle it here. He's actually just... Okay, queens are very good units, guys. One queen dies. The Banshee will find an opportunity here at the natural. Spore crawlers don't actually kill Banshees. They just can see them, like that guy. That's the one right there. There is an Overseer, but he's neglected to get creep. How many times do we not get creep, Brenda? You gotta get the creep in between the bases. So ItDrooling with a smashing defense. In the good sense, not in the lost a bunch. A Predator drone out on the map for scouting purposes, of course. A scan at the front. The Banshee taking out creep tumors. Not actually target firing. A little sloppy by Dolan. Dolan. Oh, he's got... Up! He backs off. So now we get to see a game where nothing went right for Dolan. He's killed a grand total of 5 drones. He's lost all his Hellbats. He's not going to be easily able to take a third. ItDrooling should be taking a 4th base, I'd say right now. ItDrooling, make me look smart. Next time he has 300 minerals, he's going to take a 4th. I'm going to make that prediction. So, as soon as this Banshee is dealt with, the drone's being targeted there. Smart move by Dolan. Okay, now it's time. 4th base. Bam. Bam. There it is. All right. The infestation pit on the way. Because right now, ItDrooling doesn't have the army to attack. So simply, you just expand. You take advantage of your map control by expanding. With Lings and Banes are just not going to win the game. Not right now. He does have Bane speed, but he has no upgrades. He's fighting up a ramp into Banshees and Hellions. You're going to need something more. Like, say, 14 Hydralisks. Another base as well. This is something that's very important against the Hellclone style. Being able, like, sometimes you're just going to be a little out of position, and those Cyclones will rip down your hatchery in a few seconds. Having an option of another hatch is pretty critical. Just building a lot of Banshees. The Tacta boys, they're not going to be coming with, are they? No. 5 Banshees, 10 Hellions, 4 Cyclones. The mixed bag variety pack of mech units that you didn't see until like a year ago. Or really this year. At least in mass. Oh, but the Banelings are rolling in. Dolan's Hellbats cut down. A few more Banelings in the front. He's going to have to back off. The Cyclones find some knocks, but the lock-on upgrade, Magfield Accelerator, only does extra damage to armored units. And there are no armored units he's facing. Queens and Hydras are not armored. So the Cyclone's minimally effective, and now maximally dead. He's going to have to switch it up. In fact, it might be time for some tanks. It looks like he's still going to go Cyclone Hellion. It's hard to just switch into tanks. Overseer coming up. Banshees still have a ton of DPS. And if they're out of range... Oh, does he have groove spawns? He does. Extra range, but that's a changeling. Got to get the creep between these bases, ItDrooling. These little spots without creep. He's got a hive. 3 Vipers on the way. 70-something drones. A scan. Just really watching to see if the army will continue forward. Now, roles are reversed. ItDrooling has an overwhelming economy. He has the tech, and he has the army. Dolan is on the defensive. He's going to struggle to take a 4th and hold it against the army his opponent is building. Continued exchanges, but has he continued building Banshees? He has not. He's adding on more factories, tanks now. That's really going to be the only way to hold on to the 4th base. That's going to be critical for surviving against Vipers, being able to replace units that are abducted and never seen again. More Cyclones on the way. How many Vipers now? 3 and 2 more being added on. The upgrades, only 1-1 with no more on the way. So I feel like he's slacking a little bit on that. This army, where are you going? Why are you out here? The Cyclone's dragged in, knocked down, will not be going home again. Are those Blue Flame Hellions? They are. Looking for an opportunity. The Banshee's still going to work. The Banshee's yanked. Get over here. Knocked out of the sky. The Hellion's going to find a handful of drones. Go into Hellbat mode. But he just lost a lot of his mobile army. He lost his Banshees and Clones with that. A 4th base taken. I thought he might take it at the front. He's going to take it in the back corner. Is there a Spire for ItDrooling? No Spire. No additional upgrades. He's just going to try to end it with HydroLink Viper, which isn't unlikely to work. Dolan, though, he's building up his army. He's got +2 armor. He's got 8 factory production. Oh my god, +3 armor on the way. Relying on the strength of these units just overall. There's one drone somewhere in there leading the charge. Yes. But 4 bases are a big deal here. That is not a watchtower. That's just a Manx. Wait, that's not Manx. That's just a Marine. Just chilling. Another armory on the way. It looks like he wants to go to Sky Terran. Already some Liberators added in. He is correctly preparing for just this mid-game army. If Dolan is able to get Tier 3 tech, like Liberator range, which he's heading towards, if he's able to hold on to these 4 bases, ItDrooling is really going to regret not getting the upgrades in a more timely manner. Not having access to Broodlords and Infestors. This is... Now, he's almost maxed out. A lot of gas in the bank. ItDrooling, 82 drones. Might as well. Might be time to just go for it. Abducts. Just pulling over all these key units. There's still a lot on the ground here. He has to be on top. Nice blinding cloud in the back line. Gonna cover one of the tanks. One of them still fully sieged up. In comes the Cyclones. The Banelings trying to get there. The drones survive. Why are there drones? Great Hellion pulls. The Banelings are actually exploding on singular units, though. Not the most cost-efficient usage. You're only down 120 supply. He needs to rebuild as soon as possible. He's intensely microing this fight. He's putting his production back together. But overall, not a decisive engagement. I think that went better for ItDrooling. But how many Vipers did he lose? 0. He still has the Vipers. I think he just dragged... Where is he He has his battery packs in the main. I'm sure he'll be charging up in a sec. Dolan trying to refill here. He'll mostly do it with Hell Clones. They're good mid-game, but at this point, it's unlikely that he's going to win the game with them. Oh my god. More Vipers than a snake oil salesman right now. The Hellbats find a base. Smart Servo's on the way as he realizes, let's fill in the blanks, maybe even get some drilling claws in there. At this stage of the game, when the armies are so spread out, having a few Widow Mines scattered around the map can be incredibly annoying and effective, because usually they won't spend the time to take them out, depending on where they are. Rock's being taken down, doesn't want to be caught between a rock and a hard place. Dolan is maxed out. ItDrooling is maxed out as well. The upgrades, +3 armor against 1-2. More being added on. Vipers, so many Vipers. He really has to be cost effective. He's got to get those spells off very quickly because the tanks are obliterating anything that gets close. He needs the blinding cloud. Dolan is beaten back for now. The tanks are going to continue to move forward. Liberators reinforced. Liberator range advanced ballistics are done. The creep is pushed back, but ItDrooling still has all these bases. Both sides can refill their armies back to 200 supply before the next engagement. The battery packs recharging the Vipers. He's still continuing to siege up. +1, +3. The lack of upgrades for ItDrooling. He doesn't have that +3. Here come the Vipers, though. So many Vipers. 1, 2, 3, 4 abducts. He just sieges up right on top. Lightning Cloud doesn't catch everything. The Mac army continues to power forward. He's tearing through all the Hydras. The Vipers, a lot of them got caught by the lock-ons. Will be chased down. The Hell Clones will buffer. The Liberators need to be re-sieged, but they will find an opportunity. He pulled them before they sieged, so they were able to siege immediately. Drones being roasted. ItDrooling trying to do it with his mid-game army composition, but Dolan has snuck into the late game. His army is just more cost-effective, and you see it there. Mech Dolan's factory is pumping out some big mech units, and he's meching it happen. And we're all done with that. I will never speak again after this game. I promise. No promises. The Viper's looking for an opportunity. The advanced ballistics making things so annoying. He's out of energy on the Vipers. This base has been isolated and will be destroyed. The Queen straying too close, easily blasted to pieces. Liberation is at hand. Dolan continues to reinforce with Hell Clones. Greater Spire is on the way, but a day late and maybe a few minerals short. ItDrooling, no infestors. He's recharging the Vipers. He's still got 5 left over. The battery packs are draining in the main. He's still got a lot of mining. But the fact that Dolan is maxed out with this mech army, he's taking a 5th base, and especially access to more gas geysers. He's got +2 weapon start. He's adding on those upgrades. The Hydra's got to get close, but they have to back off before the Liberators or tanks can siege up. Vipers with a lot of energy, but not full at the moment. Parasitic Bomb going to be a big part of this. He's got to be careful about sieging him up. Multiple Liberators are going to go down. The other one's unsieged. Blinding Cloud not used. The Hydra's continuing to micro back, but the Hell Clones are just too strong. Some more Blinding Clouds will force them forward, but unfortunately the Hydras would rather they stay back. Dolan is powering through. There's no units underneath. 167 to 120 supply. Tanks now at a critical point. There's not enough Vipers to stop this. The army not coming together. Hydras didn't do it before. He's already lost 111 of them. Is there any way ItDrooling puts together an army that can actually fight this? The rally point is cut off. Dolan consolidated his forces. Liberator range, a big key component. Even more Hydra's gonna die. Dolan might not realize how comfortable a position he's in right now. He's taking it slow. The tanks dragged in. Some great pickoffs here. He's starting to be very cost effective, but is it too little too late? Is Semper looking at a TVT? The Vipers are out of energy. The only real mining bases exposed. Drones will fight, and drones will die by the dozens. The last army, the Hydra's come in. He's consuming his last extractors. Hellions are enough here. ItDrooling down at 90 supply. He's down to 22 drones. A handful of Vipers. What do the abducts even accomplish? Liberators are here again. $58. That's it. 42 drones. Not going to be the answer. A handful of Hydras and Vipers. The ragtag squad will fight for honor, but victory is probably out of reach. This is just not the army you need. The Hydras are not enough. The point highlighted in flame. Dolan with some great Hell Clone play, keeping the pressure up, doing enough. GG. WP. Dolan is going to the finals. TVT will be the ticket. We have one more match to play. A masterclass in Hell Clones. ItDrooling just couldn't stand up to it and was barbecued under the pressure. One more match. We will see. If they want to take... Oh my god, that... That army value graph. That is, a lot of Hydras, but not a lot of things that actually killed the mech. It's a disaster. I wonder if Semper helped him practice for his previous matches. We'll see. I haven't... We have no response from the players yet. For what could be... Well, what will be our final match. There's nothing left to play after this. One of these two players will qualify for WCS Challenger. Semper and Dolan. We will have another Terran. Terran actually the most represented race this WCS Challenger season. No matter what. There's going to be a short break. We will continue our cartoons. Continue from where we left off on it. And then probably 5 to 10 minutes. And then Dolan versus Semper. Jimmy. Jimmy. Wrong. There you go.
Dark. I am hurt.
None shall stand.
Here comes the pain. Outstanding.
Are you prepared to go all the way?
Yes, I am prepared to go all the way.
Welcome back, everyone, to WCS North America Challenger 2019 Open Qualifiers Day 2 Extended Edition. We have had 15 players qualify so far for World Championship Series Challenger in North America, and we will just have one more coming up. So far, let me go ahead and tell you all the players that have qualified via the top 4 last season: Neve, Masa, Jon Snow, and TLO. The top 4 from the ladder race: Future, Scarlet, Silky, and Vindicta. So far via the qualifiers: Estrella Puck, Crucial Nug, Cuddle Bear, Drunken Boy, Pure Legacy, and Sotorx. And our next match will determine the very last: a Terran, either Psystorm Gaming's Dolan, or Semper, a top Terran, and has been for many years. America versus Canada, Pennsylvania versus Quebec, Terran versus Terran, brother versus... Okay. But thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed my coverage thus far. I hope you enjoyed just a little bit longer. And quick announcement: Puck versus Printf unofficial WCS qualifier match. They weren't able to play it live, but will be happening after the cast ends. We'll remove the delay, we'll go back, and we're going to have a bit of a show match between the Protoss as well. So stay tuned for that. Thank you, and let's get back to the games. Go away, Jimmy. Maps. Oh, we got 2 minutes. We gotta fill 2 minutes. All right. Well, okay. Don't worry. I will show you. Where is... To look away. Everybody look away. It's not working how I thought it would work. How's it? How you doing tonight? Okay. I have a quick guide on getting Grandmaster for you guys. One of the best games out there. Really just very important for training that APM. So what you're going to do is type haha XD as many times as possible. And copy paste, of course. No scripts allowed. Scripts are cheating, obviously. You really just get that APM up. Oh, he's too slow. He's too slow. He's too slow. It's not enough. It's not enough. I mean, I was hoping there'd be more challenges. 1v2, but really the key, getting that APM up. Thank you, Deviance 1, Kaizo Man 2. They can't copy and paste. You gotta be able to compete. Okay. You gotta be able to compete. And you could tell there they couldn't compete. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But, you know, I really feel like this is big. You know what it's important for? Alright, you gotta be a pro gamer. And you can't be a pro gamer without being fast. Speaking of being fast, that's how you do it. Wow. Thank you for that hard-hitting commentary. Me. They're doing map vetoes. Dolan did request a short break after that last match. So, we're just waiting on them to pick the maps up.
Taron. Uh-oh, I smell cheese in the air.
No, please. I don't know how long it takes to do map vetoes for TVT unless they're specifically trying to avoid certain styles. But it takes a bit apparently. Any second now. Well, and any second now, I'll stop saying any second now until the next time we do a live qualifier type event. So that'll probably be this weekend, Psystorm Cup. So look forward to that. Cairo's Junction, King's Cove, and Thunderbird. Let's get started. Semper get in the game. You're an important part of this. You're a very relevant part. Okay. Oh my god. Yes, stay his red color, please. Semper. Semper! Semper, his coach is hyping him up. We are ready to go. I told him I want a good, clean fight. All I got back was a winky face. Let's get started to choose the final WCS North America Challenger. Semper versus Dolan, both fighting through. Semper's been waiting over almost 24 hours for this match. Day 2 Extended Edition. Let us introduce our players in the bottom right. From Canada, from Quebec, one of the top North American Terrans. That should have gone without saying. I just felt like I needed to say something additionally. Also, apparently, I believe he passed the... He wasn't playing lately because he was doing something... I believe he was taking the bar and becoming a lawyer. So, but can he see where his opponents put battle cruisers? I mean, put starports. Okay, that was dumb. These jokes should be illegal. Jokes, quote unquote. In the top left, Psystorm Gaming's Dolan. Moving on. Can we just restart? Edit that part out. Just do some jump cuts. Jimmy, can we get some jump cuts? Okay, thank you. See, just distract them with shiny things. No barracks out on the map. TVT. Let's actually just get down into the nitty-gritty of TVT. Tiny details matter. Ravens, Cyclones, all the little micro back and forth. Do you make 2 Reapers? Do you make 3? When do you get a Reactor? Do you get a Hellion? Do you get 2 Hellions? Every single tiny little choice. It's not cheesy or all in to get 2 gas. Getting 2 gas is safe. That's safe. It's almost like PvP nowadays, where if you try to expand early, you're just asking to die. And there are so many ways with which your opponent can make that happen. And TVT nowadays, everybody loves Ravens. Okay? 2 Ravens is usually the choice. Some players will try to sneak by with 1. But the battle for air control, no matter if you're going mech, or if you're going bio, usually you'll see 4 to 6 Vikings complementing 2 Ravens early on. We've got the bully tactic. He's shepherding his SCV in. Semper, insanely quick reaction time. Not even taking a shot. He saw it before he shot. Not letting it... The SCV on Reaper duel. Both of them having their hype man to ideally body block any of the shots. So Semper went for a 2nd Reaper, getting his Reactor. Dolan getting a 3rd Reaper and adding on another Hellion. He does not have a command center as of yet. Semper being a little greedier, but he does have the high ground and the defender's advantage. That's how it goes. Liberator's on the way. Another Hellion. Dolan should be getting aggressive here. Semper... With this, you delay your starport. He had 2 out of 3 in gas. He still has 2 out of 3 in 1 of the gas. That is on purpose, to be able to afford everything else and a command center. If Dolan just sits back defensively, that's a mistake. But he may wait for the Liberator to combine with all these forces aggressively. Factory's done. He's got a tank. He didn't opt for a Cyclone. That's important to note. The Liberator's on the way, and with it comes the... Oh, wow. He waited. He held on to this for a while. That's 4 Reapers and 4 Hellions. That's very dangerous. There is... The Marines are moving down, but a Viking's about to finish at perfect timing here. He's going to have a block for the Liberator and a block on the ground. Tank shot is big. Second tank shot even bigger. There's still a lot of units involved. He's going to get on top of the tank. The Liberator's going to siege up. The Viking going to work on it. Still enough. He's going to lose the tank here, but everything going to be shot down. 4 SCVs are also targeted. So Semper will lose a tank. He'll lose some SCVs. But overall, he will hold with a quicker command center. He's even on workers. Dolan did some damage. I'd say Semper defended, but not perfectly. It's hard to defend perfectly in that scenario. Without a Cyclone and a tank, you don't really have the units that are going to prevent your opponent from diving on you. But overall, about as well as he could have done with what he had. Dolan also made some very quick decisions that allowed him to do any damage. So, well done by him as well. There is a Hellion. He could maybe send that into the natural. Dolan's already ready for it. You can tell these players, they've probably played each other dozens of times. In fact, I'm not sure, but they may have practiced together last night. I doubt it. Maybe not last night. Maybe the night before. As Dolan started out tonight with a TVT match as well, that they were really focused on making sure he got through. Ravens in production. Semper has a few worker lead, but the third command center advantage will go to Dolan. Two Ravens are the ticket for both sides. Never more, never less. At least standard builds. What is the production going to go into? Do we get Marine tank? Or is it going to be mech? Dolan adding a factory. It's going to be mech. But on the other side, Semper has to make a decision. He's got the minerals now. It's bio. The classic dichotomy. Mech versus bio. Both players, third command center. I said I wanted a good, clean fight. It looks like we're getting one. They threw a few jabs early. Dolan coming at Semper. Semper deflecting. But they both went back to their corners, and now for round 2, they're really ready to duke it out. It's going to come down to air control, upgrades, positioning, infrastructure, economy. I'm just saying all the words that can be loosely associated with StarCraft 2. Most competitive 1 versus 1 esport. Dolan out on the map. Not sure how much he actually wants to get aggressive with this, but he doesn't want to let his opponent do the same thing to him. There is a pretty nasty position on this map where you can get right next to... Now, it's more dangerous for Dolan because his add-ons are exposed. But Semper has himself well zoned out. Just a few Marines looking around. The third base is taken for Dolan first, which is always good for a mech player playing aggressive defense. He's got to be careful if he loses tanks here. Ooh, that positioning is a little dicey. Almost within tank range. Command center on the way out. 3 racks against 3 factories. Semper should be adding on more production in a moment. With mech, you don't usually add on production as quickly because your factories are obviously more expensive with gas. Where are the upgrades? Are there engineering bays? Okay, well, Semper thought about it at the same time. Is there an armory on the other side? That should be next on the docket. Actually, 2 more factories. So Dolan's going to have a lot of... not great upgraded, but a lot of mech units. Whereas Semper's going to be more focused on building up a strong bio army. A bit of role reversal here, because Semper will have overall comparatively less units in supply, but he will have better upgrades. It'll be an interesting split. Both sides, Semper not ready to give up the air war quite yet. He's got 7 Vikings against 8, but he's going to 10. Taking a forward position. These little pillars out on the map. You can see the Venn diascan coming out. Both players know the danger. They actually kind of block vision around the edges. So if you don't have air control, you don't have a scan, you can get flanked around the sides of what seems to be an innocuous pillar out on the map. Sensor tower for Dolan. That might make Semper think there's a fourth base, because usually you don't just take a sensor tower and that's it, and end of line. He scans forward, sees nothing, maybe a little confused, but he does have a Marine out on the map. Dolan, still no armory. Definitely late on that. I will say that is late. Like, he would and should be looking at at least one armory, one upgrade by now. Unless he's going to try to kill Semper, but I'm not sure how he plans to pull that one off. The siege on siege. Semper now the aggressor. Neither side with medevacs. The air-cold war has yet to heat up. It's going to come down to Raven control, anti-armor missiles, interference matrix, as well as sheer numbers. But Dolan is producing off of 5 factories and a reactored starport. Semper just went up to 5 racks. He's adding on 2 more starports. We may never see a medevac. TVT, just no more medevacs. Double armory for Dolan. Now, despite the lack of units actually engaging, it is mind games, it is positioning. This is a very active game, despite the lack of units fighting one another. You can't just let your opponent walk across the map for free. Dolan's got a strong army, a little bit ahead in army supply. What's the air war? 14 against 12 Vikings in favor of the mech player. Marines, of course, can complement the anti-air a lot better than Hellions and tanks. And that's why the mech player has to stay on top of the Viking count. 1-1 finishing up for Semper. It looks like he wants to use it. The tank's not really in position. Semper's moving around. He's got a lot of Marauders mixed in. In fact, he has barely any Marines. The tanks, will they siege? Indeed they will. The siege zone's in range of the engineering bay, not much else. That Marine is very dead. Neither side... Well, Dolan still has no upgrades at all. Semper's taking a forward position on the high ground. Dolan's production and his economy not threatened quite yet, but the engineering bay is kind of important. The scan, counter scan. At this point, dropping mules is super risky. You need every single scan, because if you happen to lose air control. Semper has a single liberator. He can really use that. He's going to drive a wedge. Forces the unsiege. Here comes Semper. Moves into the gap. Coming down the ramp. There is an opportunity for a concave. Looks like he's going to force a fight. The interference matrix will force the issue. Dolan has 13 to 8 tanks, but Semper's tanks in a much better position. Dolan's giving... Is he going to give up that position? He's really trying to bait Semper into unsieging here. Semper does not take the bait. Dolan loses a few more units. Both players nearly maxed out. I once again stress the upgrades. Interference matrix on the Liberator. He could target it down. Anti-armor missile on both sides. Interference matrix he's actually used here by Dolan. He has less armor, but he has more units shooting. It's hard to tell who's going to come out on top of that. Does he have the units he needs? The anti-armor's going to help out a lot. There's no more, like, auto turrets or anything. The anti-armor missile does turn the tide. Semper wins the air battle. And that means very quickly... Dolan is going to have to find some anti-air. There's another army moving in. Without tanks, he's not going to be able to deal with that many Marauders. Marauder Viking tank. An interesting, but currently very effective unit composition. Semper doesn't have quite enough tanks to reliably move forward. The lack of upgrades for Dolan is going to hurt more and more as time goes on. He's just neglected them. And Semper's working towards advanced ballistics. He's got 4 Liberators on the way at the same time. And he's got 2-2 for his bio. Dolan has essentially given up air control, and he's going for Thors. He's still got to build the Vikings to zone out, but the Thors are your ground to air. Oh, Semper caught a little bit unaware without the vision. Air units have slightly more vision range than ground units, and tanks can't actually see as far as they can shoot. He's going to try to siege up the tank. Tank's damage here. He might want to just drop down the Vikings at this point. Anti-armor missile comes through. The Thor, there's almost nothing left here, but whatever Semper has at home can come up and reinforce. Dolan does a good breakout, but behind this, Semper has taken full advantage of his map control. Base number 4, base number 5, and they've got planetaries locked down, sensor towers. He's got plenty of production back at home. Continuing, the Liberators with range are going to make things more and more difficult. Semper knows exactly what he needs, and he sped right towards it. He's not really made... He didn't make us... How many medevacs? Nobody has made a medevac. We're just not building medevacs in TVT anymore. The bio is coming forward. Not even going to bother sieging his tanks. He understands how weak it is compared to the mech. Just a couple tanks aren't going to cut it here. The Thor is trying to get in range. Will they have enough? There are multiple liberation zones. He's got to be careful if he's inside them. Oh, Liberators. The tank's blocking the Thor away, and suddenly the Liberators will move forward. Are there Vikings? There are Vikings, but he's going to siege up the base and cut off the mining. There's only a single Thor on the map. 3 more just popped out. Dolan desperately needs a 4th. Semper is mining off of 5 bases. He's got 10 more workers. Not too many workers, which is actually a real concern here. He's going to lose some Vikings, taking out a handful of Vikings here. He's just liberating the map from the American Terran. He needs to catch those Liberators off guard. The Thors, they don't have the range to engage. Semper solidifying his position. There's an awkward situation. Oh, the Liberator's trying to come back. There's only 2 Thors. They don't kill the Liberators that quick. He's forcing him forward. There are tanks on the high ground. And suddenly, where do you go? Dolan flanked on both sides. He's been choked off. He's lost control of the situation. A single Thor is not enough. GG, Semper takes it home. Great choices. Great Liberator usage. Knowing exactly what to do with that position. Dolan just a step behind throughout the match. And you can't be a step behind with mech, because your army is slower. It takes steps slower. Well executed. Not a pushover, but eventually he was pushed over. Dolan, I think he realized he didn't have upgrades far too late, and I'm sure he was kicking himself when he started them. But that was the obvious issue there. That means the tanks, well, and the Thors and everything, losing air control and ground control. Like, we've covered everything then. Semper 1 game away from rejoining WCS Challenger. Dolan is ready. Semper is ready. Are you ready? Well, we're not waiting for you. Game 2. I'd like to see a full series, but Semper did just look a cut above Dolan there as time went on. It's very stressful, and it's very hard to make the right decision in TVT at that stage. Like, do I have more Vikings? How do I use my Ravens? Why am I not surprised there is a SCV on the map? I kind of suspected this might be the case. That had to be a bit of a demoralizing game for Dolan, to be honest. Nothing was going badly. It just wasn't going very well. He was just losing by a split second at every turn. This is the gamble. It's Reapers. 2 Rags Reaper. Semper went gas first, double gas. That means he's not going... 1 Rags to expand means you're dead, pretty much. You're not going to be able to hold off 3 Reapers with maybe 1 Reaper if you didn't send yours across the map. He is SCV scouting. Put the score on the board. What does he do? He's not going to see the wrecks. He's going to see the conspicuous lack of them. Dolan is putting his WCS. Is that a third? He is committed. He's not even getting an orbital. He just wants the wrecks. Semper sees it. He knows. That Reaper should not be going across the map. Does he build a bunker? There's a whole lot of space to work with the Reaper jumps. This isn't a bad Reaper cheese map. It's not like desperation here. He's building 4 Rexes. Oh, Dolan. Semper knows. Semper has a very good idea of what's happening. But it does come down to execution. Every unit counts. If Dolan loses any of these early Reapers, that really cuts into it. Semper can afford to lose SCVs, but he can't lose his Reaper. The Reaper is targeted. A Marine comes out. Reaper! He misfired! He misfired! Oh, he missed a shot! Semper's Reaper lives with 1 shot away. Oh, that's huge. That was the opportunity right there. He could have had that. The Reapers will jump in. He could target. He gets it. No, he doesn't! Oh my god. That Reaper lives through everything. And what now? What do you even do now? It's a disaster. He's sending the Reaper out because he knows he's in such a good position. Dolan has to find something. He's finding nothing. There's a bunker, there's a Hellion, there's a Cyclone on the way. He did spend time going for a clone. The Reaper's in the mineral line. Semper can actually micro it. The fact that the Reaper isn't here is it's gonna have to be something. He's gonna have to get something with that. The Cyclone will end this game. Oh no. Oh. Dolan is making 4 Reapers at a time. There's gonna be a Cyclone. Once the Cyclone is out. Semper's playing a near-perfect game here. He's lost 4 units to 12 Reapers. Well, actually, some of those were SCVs. Did the other SCV die to Reapers? I believe it did. The hero. So here's the gamble. Dolan. Dolan's gonna try to jump in and hope he has so many Reapers and he's so committed that somehow he actually wins the fight. A Liberator will eventually mean that Semper defends. Or kills all the SCVs and denies mining. That's about it. If that Liberator is halfway across the map, that's the best chance for Dolan. That Liberator is the end of mining. There's a tank. Oh, you can't. The tank is about to siege. The worst possible, everything's going terrible. That tank is the end of hope. Oh, he's sending, okay, wait a second. He's sending the Cyclones across. This is maybe best case. The Cyclones are coming back. The scan is there. He tries to buffer with 1 Reaper, but guess what? The boys are pulled. This is it. This is everything. And this is not nearly enough. GG. Semper moves on. He will be your WCS Challenger. It took 2 days for us to get here, but that'll be it. That's it. Solid defense. And he earns his Challenger slot. I'm gonna call him. Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Congratulations on WCS Challenger.
Thank you.
How have you been in Challenger before?
No, it's my first time.
Your first time. And you weren't playing for, well, you weren't playing very actively for how long?
8 months.
8 months to take the bar?
Yeah,
And you passed the bar?
I did. Yeah,
You did, and now you're in WCS Challenger. Which is more important to you?
I think WCS for sure.
Yeah, there you go. Of course. But,
$400 over a whole career. I think I would take the
yeah,
$400.
well, $400 and maybe even more. But so it felt like you were just Dolan was a little intimidated there based on game one. It felt like the 4-Rax proxy, everything went terrible.
Yeah, I was actually expecting Marauders when I didn't see any Reapers at the beginning. That's why I made bunkers. But I mean, I was happy when I saw Reapers. I think I can defend that anytime with good SCV micro.
Yeah, it became pretty well after the first Reaper lived. But game number one, it felt like you were outmaneuvering. He actually had more Vikings most of the time, but you were. Is that usually how you like to play, like the aggressive defense?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is just to win the air battle in the end. That's the only thing you gotta do as bio against mech. But I mean, I needed time to get my 4 starports up, so that's why I pushed out. And I figured he would try to defend for a while, and that gave me enough time to get my Vikings up. And I also got some sick Dorito cannons on everything.
Yeah, and so there's actually, you're the 7th Terran to qualify out of NA. So
yeah,
you're looking
that's
pretty
not good.
strong in TVT. Wait, it's not good?
No, TVT is my worst matchup.
I wouldn't have been able to recognize it. But so you're going to the Challenger. It's just going to be in a couple days. But is there any player besides Neeb and Scarlet that you specifically would like to play? Is there any player who's qualified that you think you can that you would like to play, that you'd like to beat?
Okay, let me think.
I'll give you a few
I'm gonna have
names.
some time to work on
Puck,
TVT. So
Cuddle Bear,
okay.
Future, TLO. We're gonna say Future. Semper's grudging. He's beefing with Future. All right.
Future.
It's Future. He's gunning for him.
Future would destroy me right now.
No. You're gonna destroy him next time. There you go. Everybody, just post it everywhere. But congratulations, Semper. Good luck. May the RNG gods for the groups favor you, and congratulations again.
Thanks, man.
And your Twitter is Semper something. Semper _SC. We'll get it out there. Go follow him for all the news, and I'm sure plenty of memes, or at least memes posted about him. But thank you, Semper. Congratulations again, and good luck.
Thanks, dude. Take care.
Congratulations to Semper on his victory. Adding to the Terrans in WCS Challenger. And obviously pretty excited about it. Who wouldn't be? And with that, that concludes our WCS Challenger coverage for now. But we will be having Puck versus Printf, a grudge match for the match that couldn't be played because of the timing. That'll be coming up. The stream will have to be restarted because we are on a delay. So panic for a few seconds and we'll be back. I don't think that'll be starting soon. Maybe not right this second, but very soon. With that, Jimmy says one more ad, and then we're going to restart the stream, and it's panic time. Thank you guys for watching. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Winter, and I'm here to talk to you about all the exciting ways you can consume StarCraft content. Who doesn't like the term content creator or content, or just say it so many times that it doesn't sound like a word anymore? But if you're content with my content, or even if you enjoy it, if you haven't checked out YouTube yet for a video every single day, you obviously must be watching the stream 24/7. if you like Bronze League heroes, if you like Angry Coach, if you like full VODs of the WCS qualifier that you didn't follow all 8 hours of one day and then 3 hours of the next day, check that out on youtube.com/WinterStarcraft. Make sure to smash that like button like Liberators smash tanks from range. Make sure to ring that bell like a bell. I don't know. I got nothing for that. Make sure to leave a comment so I can mostly ignore it. Make sure to say you're first or second or 4,712. Make the difference today. Watch your content live and then watch your content less than live. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed my coverage of WCS Challenger. Make sure to catch everything you missed up on YouTube soon enough. There's also Twitter and that's mostly it, and Mixcloud. But yeah, that's mostly it. Subscribe today. Oh yeah, subscribe with Twitch Prime. So I can afford more frivolous things. And dank memes. Okay, it doesn't come cheap. Thank you, good luck, have fun, and I will see you soon.